Good morning.
Goeiemôre.
In our way to my Cantonian friends, how are you all this beautiful morning? It is Thursday morning, Donderdag.
Ja,
Yeah, that's one of those days. It's been a lovely week. It's been humid. It's been hot. It's been
summer.
all over the place. I'm not complaining at
No,
all, not at all. So
no.
there's no complaints from my side. Yep, and the Durban people would love the fact that it's hot and sweaty without the smell of curry. So
Um, I don't know if you noticed, but it's getting lighter later in the morning. Have you
yeah, but the
realized?
season is changing once
Yeah.
again. It's going down to our favorite time of the year, winter. That's good morning to everybody else who's saying morning, morning,
Môre
Dion
Tiaan.
down in Napier. Morning to some people in South Africa as well. Um, we decided this morning to talk about the worries of immigration. Now, it may sound a bit far fetched, but a lot of people worry about immigration. And if you don't like, if you're one of those people who don't worry about immigration, you're
There's something wrong with
probably
you.
way too tough for Africa. So
Yeah, we were just thinking, although we immigrated 6 years ago, it's still very fresh. When
yeah,
people talk about their worries, and the stress that they have, yeah, it's still very much on the surface.
mm,
I don't think you'll ever. It's very dramatic, actually. I
it
think
is.
it's one of those
I
things
was
that
just
will
gonna,
always stay with you.
Anita, just saying good morning. It's the 1st of February.
Can you
Goodness me,
believe it?
where
Can
I
you
want to say,
believe
where
it?
has this year gone?
I
But
know.
goodness me,
No,
yeah,
I know. And it's like everything's planned for the first quarter of the year, so it's
yeah.
just like it's
It's
just going.
absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. So we've got good news. It looks like the rest of the family, except my mum and her mum, could are finally going to reach the shores of New Zealand this year. So
Yeah, so
uh,
that's what we're praying
that's
for.
some good news. And some of these worries that we are talking about comes from them as well because they keep on phoning us. What about this? What about that?
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
it's just a reminder of
mm,
how stressful it actually really is.
is
And then we just want to touch on when you actually get to New Zealand, are those worries, is it worth worrying
mm.
about? I
And
know.
let me ask you this question:
Mm,
what was your biggest worry?
okay, yeah, I think we must
Let's.
go through everything that we're worried about.
What was your biggest worry?
From the first day that he said um, he wants to immigrate, I started to worry about my biggest worry was my cats. For some or other reason, it was my biggest worry. You know that your pets are
Mm.
like family, they're your children. So I was worried about what's going to happen to them, um, who's going to look after them. We had 4 cats, so it was not possible for us to bring them with us,
Yeah.
and we couldn't just bring 1 or 2. It's just not fair. So we had to find good homes for them. That was a huge stress for me. And then you obviously worry about, are you going to make it in a new
Mm.
country? Will you be able to make it financially? Will you be able to make new friends? For some reason, I thought I was going to be alone for the rest of my life. I don't know. It was just, I don't know.
So
Yeah.
basically, you thought you were the only South African in New Zealand.
I didn't know
But
how many South Africans there
but that's
were.
mind tricks. Your mind
Yeah.
plays massive tricks with you.
So I was worried about that. And I was worried about leaving my daughter and my eldest son had to stay in South Africa. So I was worried about them. And I was worried about, will I have money to go and visit them in South Africa? Um, because when you immigrate, I told myself I was going to go back to South Africa every 6 months. That's what I told myself. I think it's just
So just to get over it.
just to get over
Yeah,
it,
just
just
to
to
get
make
over
it
it.
a
Yeah,
little
to
bit
make it
easier
easier on
on me.
yourself. Yeah.
Well, that is not possible. I
Yeah.
can't go back every
But
six
the nice
months.
story is the oldest son is here for nearly a year
Yeah.
already. They're pregnant. They're expecting a beautiful baby daughter one of these days.
Mm.
And the oldest daughter is arriving within the next 2 months. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So some of the
every
fears that there was I can say was real.
yeah.
Yeah, which is a good thing. You sometimes need to get have something that keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah,
So
but it is a stress that you can't actually explain to
yeah,
anyone. And then also we had to sell our house. We wondered, is the house going to sell in time?
are we getting
Um,
the right price? Because we needed some of the money to
mm,
come to New Zealand.
yeah,
So,
I was worried if I will actually get through the medicals, if I would ever get on the other side of the medicals. It was a big stressor for me. I hate doctors.
and
I
every time you
really
see something
hate
in a
them.
white coat, a blood pressure
My
goes up.
blood pressure is just sky high, so I dreaded the medical exams, and I dreaded them with reason.
Yeah, yeah. And you
So
nearly failed your exams.
yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, so there are so many things that you worry about.
Mm.
Are you going to be able to ever buy a house again in New Zealand? Um, will you fit in? Will people accept you?
Yeah.
What is it going to be like?
Will you find work?
Will I find a
Mm.
job? Are there enough? I'm a crafty person. Are there enough craft shops and stuff around for me to actually just keep sane? Um, and I know if you've got children, your biggest worry probably will be if your children will fit in, if you will find a good school for them, if they will be happy, if they will be able to make friends, if they're Afrikaans, are they going to fit in a new school where everyone is English? So I didn't even have those stresses, but I can hear from my daughter now
Mm.
that is big worries for them, the children. So yeah, what was a worry for you?
My biggest worry was you going to fit in? Or was you going to be happy here? Because it would be rather shitty if you're unhappy for the rest of my life. So,
For you,
because
for
I
the rest
wasn't
of
going
your
I wasn't
life.
going back. That's for sure. So just somebody saying the struggle is real. My parents land next week after not seeing them for 9 years.
And you know what? Time goes by so
Mm.
fast. It feels like you saw them yesterday, and
Yeah,
then it's 6 years. And the thing is, they get older so
yeah.
quick. So when you see them again after 9 years,
Mm.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, got to pick up. Somebody just saying that probably the biggest worry for them was getting a rental in time.
mm,
Uh, I fully understand where you come from. I took that off from myself, and I just hired an Airbnb for what was it, 46 days or something like that,
yeah,
and that worked out very near to the same as we would have paid for a rental
yeah,
plus the power.
yeah.
So that came through for us, and we had time to go and look for a rental, so forth. But yeah,
Mm.
I
It
understand
is a
that
stress,
worry.
and
Because where do you go from here? I mean, if you haven't
that's
got
the
a rental,
thing. Where do
you haven't got friends, you
you
can't go and live
no?
with somebody. Mother
You
and father's
land
not
in New
here.
Zealand and there's nowhere
Oh,
for you to go. It's
yes, yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
So I think the best thing for you to do is just make a list of the things that you are worried about and just tackle them one at a
Yeah,
time.
write them in priority.
Don't overthink it, because then you'll end up,
Mm.
oh, I can tell you where you'll end up. So just don't go there. Just take it step by step, make a list. I know a lot of people hate lists. Make a list and just tackle it one
Mm.
step at a time. And it's so
and,
nice when you can
and
actually mark them
ask
off.
somebody else who's already been here, or easier. It's
Yeah.
um, don't ask those guys that went back, because most of them are so negative about New
Mm,
Zealand.
yeah.
But ask the people who are here.
Yeah.
Ask them, how did you find rentals? How did you get scope? How did you this? How did that?
Mm,
And if you struggle, we've got Facebook pages. Put the question on there, and if you
yeah.
really can't
Yeah.
find the answer, call us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then another thing, if people give you advice, take it to heart.
Mhm.
Not all advice are
It's
the
good
best
advice. Yeah.
advice and is good advice, but just think about what people tell you, because sometimes people ask for advice, you give them advice, and then you just follow their own heads, and it makes it worse for them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you keep on worrying about stuff that you actually really
Mhm.
you don't have to worry about. So I would say with the rental thing, if you have the finances, um, and you should have the finances, if you've got finance enough money for a rental, then you will have enough money for an Airbnb for a
Mm.
few days. So just to have the peace of mind that when you arrive in New Zealand, that you've got somewhere to go, even if it's just for 10 or 15 days, just to get over the jet lag,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's another bad thing.
um, and just find
Mhm.
yourself a little bit, and yeah, and then you've got time to look for a rental. You've got time to reach out to people that's already here that can maybe help you with stuff.
Mm.
So if you can do that, that is a really good plan.
Yeah. Somebody just saying, if you're a Christian, join a church. You'll get wonderful help down there.
Yeah.
And Vanita just saying, it is easier now because most people should get settlement information from their employers.
Oh,
So
that's
that
nice.
was something that wasn't down there in our time.
No.
This must be quite a rather new thing. So somewhere along the lines, I don't know
Hmm.
what settlement information really could be in there, but how to get a rental or how not to stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
So
it's
if
always
you,
hectic.
yeah,
These type of things play at the back of your mind, and they
yeah,
come in out in the middle of the night, and you wonder about this, and you wonder about that.
yeah. And
So
then the thing is, if you are just in an Airbnb for a few days, you have time, if you've
mm,
got children, to just visit the school, see where you want your kids to maybe go, so that you know where you have to look
yeah,
for a rental. Because, I mean, just for like Tauranga, it is a huge place
mm.
and it's got so many schools, so many suburbs. Um, then you've got time to just
Mm.
figure out where you want your kids to
You
go.
know what the reality is out there,
Mhm.
and I see that with most of the clients that I work with that just comes from South Africa.
Mm.
The big problem is because the delays in the visa and getting the visa, the husbands has got to go start immediately.
Mm.
So that's a bit of a hiccup. They can't say, oh, let's take 2 weeks and see a bit of Tauranga or
Mm.
Auckland or wherever you are, and then go to. There's just no time for that.
Mm.
Hubby lands 2 days later. He's in the work, and he's grafting. I mean, now he's still got jet lag. He's duck up,
Yes, I know.
and he's just got to go work.
Yeah.
And the wife is suddenly left all alone with the kids. She's got to find the school. She's got to look for a rental. She's got to look for this. So my hats off, or sometimes it's the other way around that the husband has got to do this stuff. So my hats
Mm.
off to those persons. I would say, want to say, staying behind when somebody else is going to work, because that takes also a lot of, how can I say, a, a lot of pressure on them,
Mm.
and I think it even makes it worse.
Oh, yeah, it is
Mm.
bad. It is, you know what? You must just prepare yourself that it is going to be stressful
For a
for a
while,
few months.
yeah, for a while,
Um, if you see it as negative and a problem, you're going to make it very bad for
yeah.
yourself. See it as an adventure because it is an adventure. You're going to live in a new country.
It's
It
an
is an
adventure that will
adventure.
influence the rest of your life.
Yes. So see it like that. See it as an adventure
Mm.
and just try to make the best of everything. Um, speak to the parents, speak to the teachers. You will find that in a lot of schools there are one or two South African teachers,
Yeah.
and that makes it so much easier. They can just kind of help your kids to settle
Mm.
in, speak a little bit of Afrikaans with them. But even if you don't have that, the people here are used to working with immigrants. They're used to working with immigrant children. You've got people from all over the world here, so they are used to working with the immigrant
Oh
children.
yeah.
You
Oh yeah.
don't need to worry about it.
You're not the first immigrant that will arrive here.
No.
So
And I have seen little children coming into New Zealand, and within the first 2 months, they speak English with an accent,
oh yeah.
and they just fit in like,
From coming from a place where they have never
yeah.
spoken of English at all.
So if your biggest worry and your biggest fear is your small children,
Mm.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I find that the people with teenagers struggle a little bit more because I think it's probably because if you're a teenager,
It's
you
hormones, man.
already, yeah,
Hormones.
but you're already in a place where you don't actually know who you are and where you fit
Yeah.
in.
And now you're in
And
a
now
country where you
you,
don't know who you are or where you
exactly,
don't fit in. So
all the Kiwi children are English, and they probably, some of them are very nasty,
mm,
probably. Um, so yes, it's not going to be easy if you've got teenage children, probably. Or though I've heard of some of them that
would
just
fit
fit
in
right in. If they
quickly.
do
Yeah.
sports, it makes a huge
Mm,
difference. Sport is big in New Zealand,
yeah.
so
And
yeah.
get out.
Mm.
I've seen a few couples that arrived, and after 2 or 3 years, they haven't even been out of their own town.
Mm.
They don't know the area around them. So just something from Bonita. She
Yeah.
says the settlement information is very comprehensive. It's regarding setting up banking, IRD, driver's license, rentals, school, public transport, community services, religious communities, and so forth. So that's what a comprehensive.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a quite comprehensive way to integrate a new immigrant in the society. Is that
That's
the
what
right words?
integrate. Yeah, that's nice.
Integrate. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Um, yeah, that's a good one.
Read that was.
To be where I am now 9 months later, I'd probably do it again if I had to start over. The positive side, it's so much more than the negative side,
Yeah,
isn't it true?
it is.
And this is a good one. My 9-year-old son is very Afrikaans and did not read or write in English. Within less than a year, he can write, read, and speak. The kids adapt better than the adults, and that is a fact.
And the kids adapt faster than the adults
They
as
do.
well. Yeah.
They do. So don't worry about the little ones. They'll be just fine.
She'll be all right, mate. She'll be all right.
If you've got teenagers and they really struggle, reach out and let's see if we can find someone for them to talk to. There are a lot of counselors. Many of the schools have got their own school counselors, and they're there for that reason, to help them settle in, to help them with their fears and their worries.
Yeah.
And if you can reach out and find children in their age group, maybe see if they can just meet up with some kids so that they don't feel that isolated and that alone, and at least I've got someone that went through the same thing.
But more on the camera.
I think that will be a good idea.
And then for yourself, I mean, I know whoever's going to work, they probably mingle with the office staff, and I don't know if it's always a good or a bad thing, but they mingle down there. And they come home with all their stories from the office, and you who's been left behind hasn't got real stories to tell, except your struggle to find the tomato sauce in pack and save, and don't understand how the petrol pumps work, and so you guys have got to make time for yourselves as well. So you got to intermingle as well and share your stories with each other.
Yeah. And prepare yourself. You're going to feel a little bit lost, and you're going to feel a little bit out of place. That's just normal.
Yeah.
You don't know.
To tell you a story about her, for the first, about a year or so, she didn't put her own petrol in.
No, I didn't
had to go
fill
with
up
her.
my car. I was scared, but I'm scared about everything. So I was scared I wouldn't be able to do it, or I would look stupid if I don't know how to do it.
And these days she just goes with the flow. So you have adapted
that
as
matters,
well.
But now I just feel like
integrated
anyway. So there are a few fears and worries. That's legit. But I just want to tell you that just take it. Just go with the flow.
My biggest thing I had to learn in New Zealand, and this is not my proudest moment now, is I had to learn how to slow down. I had to learn how to slow down because I come from Cape Town, and I know Joburg people as well. We were driving at a reckless speeds. Thinking back today at the speeds I used to drive on the normal roads, goodness me, it'll give me grey hairs to do that again.
I can tell you that living in New Zealand is going to challenge you on
many facets.
Yeah. On many levels. To just touch this on the subject, if you used to working in South Africa, especially if you worked with customer care, if you had to phone a lot or whatever, like the insurance industry, the way to get things done was to get angry, probably scream at the person on the other. I don't know. You just couldn't get anything done if you didn't push them to get it done. And then you got it done. But in New Zealand, you can't speak to people like that.
Yeah, if you scream or don't scream, you just can't get it done.
No.
It's island time.
If you get angry or upset over the phone, they will go out of their way to make it as miserable as possible for you.
Yeah.
It's like they'll shut down. They're not used to people talking to them like that. So it's like they are just shutting down and they can't do anything. And you will get into trouble. You can't speak to people like that. I mean, it's actually a very bad habit. which we
But let's face it,
taught
that was
ourselves in South
basically the only
Africa.
way to get
Yeah,
stuff done in South Africa.
but you can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that is one thing that you'll have to work on when you're in New Zealand. When you speak nicely and you treat them well, they'll treat you well. So don't get upset about nitty gritty stuff. I know you probably want to hit someone,
Shout and scream.
but just yeah, stay calm.
Yeah. That's sometimes very difficult to do.
Yeah, so I think it's the same in the workplace.
Mhm.
If you were a boss in South Africa and you were used to treat your staff a certain way, you have to rethink it in New Zealand. You can't talk to people the way that some of the South Africans talk to their people.
Yeah.
You just can't. You'll get labeled for bullying in the first instance, and they feel intimidated very easily. So rather put your fears and your worries towards how you are going to um, go about interacting
Tone
with
yourself
people.
down.
Yes,
That's
tone
the big
yourself
thing. Yeah.
down. Yes.
Tone yourself down. It's rather difficult sometimes to get everything done.
Yeah. Yeah. And then all the worries and the fears that you have when you finally get to New Zealand, were they all worth your worry?
I would say probably no, but being a human being,
You can't help it.
I think if I had to redo it, I'll probably have the same worries again.
Yes.
Because it's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
It's the fear of the unknown. You can watch as many YouTube videos. You can watch all our videos. You can watch everything. It will never 100% be enough for you. Things still different when you set your foot on New Zealand. That is the first time. That is reality.
Yeah.
That is reality.
Yeah.
You can watch tons of YouTube videos, even the ugly and the nasty ones. You can watch them all. It is still, the second you put your foot on the soil, that's the reality.
Yes.
So.
And the thing, if you feel overwhelmed when you get to New Zealand and you feel lonely and you feel isolated, and yeah, you just wake up and you don't feel yourself, get in your car and just drive somewhere. It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I always find that being in nature, it calms you down and it makes you feel a little bit
Go and walk
better.
on the beach. Go and walk in the bush.
Get some wind through your hair.
It is absolutely safe enough to do that.
Yeah.
Point one.
And the thing is, you can be surrounded by people, although you don't know them. You don't feel alone.
Yeah.
For me, it's really nice to just be where there are a lot of people. I don't have to talk to them. Just to see there's a lot of people around. If it's on the beach, it's that.
Yeah.
If it's just in a park or just walking.
Just go to one of these little markets. Even if you don't have any money, just walk through the thing and look at all the weird stuff they do and talk to a few people down there.
If you want
Even if you struggle to understand them and they struggle to understand you, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. They'll still try and you've got to try. That's just one way to integrate yourself into this community.
And just remember, a good thing about New Zealand is that there are more immigrants, I think, than there are local Kiwis around. So you really don't have to worry about feeling like you're an alien. They are, when you go to markets and stuff, you'll see what I mean. The languages that you hear, it actually feels like you're somewhere in Europe and a lot of tourists around you, but it's actually people you are
living there now. So.
Yeah. So just get out of the house if you feel a little bit down in the dumps. Just get out.
One thing, Sandra, you're better saying coffee on the beach is lovely, and it doesn't need to cost you anything.
It doesn't.
You buy these cheap cover mugs for about $5 Kmart, and then you just take your coffee to the beach and just sit there
and go places.
And when the sun is shining in New Zealand, let me put it that way, and I know the sun has been shining a lot now, the last few days, but when the sun is shining, get out in the sun. It's a good thing for you. It makes you feel better. The sun is a very, very weird thing. It can make you feel
get a little bit of
mentally
vitamin D.
better.
Yeah, makes you feel so much better.
So much better, So we've got about 6 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm trying
to
think
wise words from you.
The worry about, especially when you're a little bit older, like we were when we immigrated, You're starting from scratch. So
Mm.
a big worry was, are we going to make it? Will we be able to retire? Are we ever going to be able to buy a house? Those are all legit worries. But if you take it day by day, step by step,
Yeah,
it will happen.
yeah,
We talk from experience. We started with freaking $69 in the bank. So it will happen. Just
yeah.
be,
Just don't give up. This is a
no,
big thing. Don't give up. Don't
yeah,
give up. I always told myself, I am here now. I've got nothing to go back to.
no,
And that is what kept me in New Zealand for the first year. My first year financial year was really, really tough, to be quite frank. So if you're struggling financially, I have been there. I've really been there. So fast bait, hang in there. There's not a real good word for fast bait in English.
yeah, no, just hang in there, just
Have
stay
perseverance.
strong, persevere. That's the
Yeah.
word, yeah. Even if you're struggling,
So yeah.
just carry on. Yeah. The thing is, if you always keep a back door open
Mm,
in your mind, you are really going to struggle to settle in. When
yeah.
we came to New
Yeah.
Zealand, I said to Jan, because I didn't really want to come. So I said, I'll go. But I'm telling you now, if I'm gone, I'm gone. I'm not ever, ever coming back.
This is one of the most difficult things that she's ever said to me because it forced me to leave South Africa with residence. So at that stage, it was still
Yeah, it
possible.
isn't possible anymore.
Now, some of this is very near to possible, yeah. So Sandra Barrett was saying I came over with just my suitcase and I started over from scratch. And
Hats off to you.
yeah, and I talked to a lot of people who today, somebody, I've written it down on one of these pieces of paper. They said for the first time in their life, they've been here for 3 years, for the first time in their life, they debt free. They don't owe anybody a cent. They've
Yeah.
got two cars, they've paid them off because you can pay stuff off faster
Yeah.
down here. It's just easier.
I think you can actually stress that there are a lot of people that come here and you can get what's
Mm,
this easy buy or I don't know whatever, but you can buy stuff on credit.
yeah.
Don't do that to yourself. In the first instance, it's going to swallow your money like mad. In the second instance, it counts against you when you want to get credit for a house or
Yeah.
a car or whatever.
Don't go the
So
credit card
don't
route
do
like
that.
we've done in South Africa.
No.
Don't go for that.
Don't do that.
Um,
Rather struggle a little bit and
mm,
try to pay everything cash. Vanita's got a very good
yeah,
thing. Maybe we can make
we can
a
address
talk about
retirement a
that.
bit, yeah.
Yeah. And
But that we'll
Vanita,
do in another time.
yeah, she's saying that Jan needs to address retirement in New Zealand. What will be enough, and what can you do to live comfortably? So we can do that next
We
week,
can
probably.
probably
Yeah.
it's got to do a bit of homework there first, and then we can
Yes.
address that problem.
Because that is also a worry,
Yeah.
especially if you're a little bit older. You worry about retirement.
And that's important. But the nice thing about New Zealand is, and I love the fact that this is such an open society that in South Africa at 55, they're starting to look at you and say, when are you moving? When are you leaving? We've got new guys that want to come in. Here at age 65, that's only the first time you can go on retirement if you want to. If
Yeah.
you want to. Some of the companies, they allow you now to work for 4 days or for 3 days or just work a few hours, those type of things. I mean, that helps a lot of people out, especially those who haven't planned well for retirement.
And I think that helps your mind stay busy.
Oh yeah.
So the people in New Zealand tend to get a lot older than the people in South Africa.
You know what?
Mm.
It helps the husbands stay out of their wives' hair. That's why.
Whatever.
All right.
Okay.
It's that time of the morning. You've got to say goodbye.
I hope it helped a little bit. If you've got questions, just ask on Facebook.
Awesome. There's one or two questions, guys. I want to address them on my own, but later I'll send some of the people that some PMs down here.
Yeah.
Private messages. So, okay. That was us. That's a wrap up. First day of February. So
have a good one.
As Jack said, it's still January in South Africa, so we still got a long month down there.
We are very excited because for the first time since we've arrived in New Zealand, friends of ours are going to come and visit us
tomorrow.
We're picking them up tomorrow, and we are so excited to show them everything, and they are just as excited.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to the city of sales and picking them up. And
we're really looking forward to that.
yeah. All right, guys and girls, that's us. Thanks a lot for listening to us this morning. Next week, same time, same place. And I think next week I'll have some information about the holidays we are going to give away to some of our clients.
Okay.
Hope to have more information by today, end of today.
And let's do the retirement thing next week.
Next week, why not?
Okay.
All right. See you all.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.